controlling speed. Driving too fast for road, weather, or traffic conditions is a major cause of accidents. A professional driver must adjust his speed to prevailing driving conditions. There are three components to total stopping distance: perception distance plus reacting distance plus braking distance. Perception distance is the distance your vehicle travels from the time your eyes even see a hazard until your brain recognizes it. The perception time for an alert driver is about 3/4 of a second. At 55 miles per hour, you travel 60 feet in 3/4 of a second. Reaction distance. It's the distance traveled from the time your brain tells your foot to move from the accelerator until your foot is actually pushing the brake pedal. The average driver has a reaction time of 3/4 of a second. At 55 miles per hour, your vehicle will travel an additional 60 feet. Braking distance. The distance it takes to stop once the brakes are put on. At 55 miles per hour on dry pavement with good brakes, it can take a heavy vehicle about 390 feet to stop. It takes 4.5 seconds. Total stopping distance. All three factors add up to total stopping distance. 55 miles per hour, it will take about 6 seconds to stop your vehicle. You travel about the distance of a football field before coming to a complete stop. Stopping distance chart. This chart will help give you a picture of the relationship between different speeds and the amount of space you will need to safely stop your vehicle. From the time you see a problem on the road to the time it takes you to react and begin braking until the brakes actually stop the vehicle. Speed, weight, and stopping distance. The effect of speed on stopping distance. Every time you double your speed, it takes 4 times as much distance to stop. The effects of weight and stopping distance. Heavy vehicles work best when the vehicle is fully loaded. Empty trucks require greater stopping distance. Heavy vehicles are designed to work best when the vehicle is fully loaded. Empty trucks require greater stopping distance because an empty vehicle has less traction. An empty vehicle can balance and lock up its wheels, which will result in poor braking ability. Matching speed to road surface. You cannot steer or brake a vehicle unless you have traction. There are some road conditions that reduce your traction and call for slower speeds. It will take longer to stop and will be harder to turn without skidding when the road is slippery. Wet roads can double your stopping distance. You must drive slower to be able to stop in the same distance as on a dry road. Reduce speed by 1/3 on wet roads. On packed snow, reduce speed by half or more. If the road is icy, crawl and stop driving as soon as possible. Identify slippery surfaces. Sometimes it is hard to know if the road is slippery. Here are some sure signs of slippery roads. Shaded areas of the road will remain icy and slippery long after open areas have melted. When the temperature drops, the bridges will freeze first. When ice begins to melt, it becomes wet and very slippery. Black ice is a thin, clear layer of ice. You cannot see the road underneath. It appears wet. Anytime the temperature drops below freezing and the road looks wet, watch out for black ice. When your windshield wipers and mirrors ice up, it is a good indication that the road is becoming slippery. Just after it rains, water mixes with oil on the road, making the road very slippery. Hydroplaning. When water slush puddles on the road, the tires could lose contact with the road and have little or no traction. You may not be able to steer or to brake. It is similar to water skiing. You can regain control by releasing the accelerator and pushing in the clutch. This will slow the vehicle and let the wheels turn freely. Do not use the brakes to slow down. If the drive wheels begin to skid, push in the clutch and let them turn freely. It does not take a lot of water to cause hydroplaning. It can occur at speeds less than 30 miles per hour. Hydroplaning is more likely if your tire pressure is low or the tread is worn. The grooves in your tire tread carry away the water. If they are warm, they will not work well. Watch out for clear reflections on the road, tire splashes, and the raindrops on the road. These are all indications of standing water. Speed and curves. Drivers must adjust their speed for curves in the road. If you take a curve too fast, the wheels can lose their traction, creating a skid, or the wheels may keep their traction and the vehicle will roll over. Tests have shown that trucks and buses with a high center of gravity can roll over at the posted speed limit curve. Braking in a curve is dangerous because it is easier to lock up the wheels and cause a skid or jackknife. Slow to a safe speed before you enter a curve and be in gear within RPM range that will allow you to accelerate slightly and pull the trailers through the curve. Speed and distance ahead. You should always be able to stop within the distance you see ahead. Fog, rain, or snow will limit the distance you can see. These conditions require that you slow down to be able to stop within the distance you can see ahead. At night, you cannot see as far ahead of you with your low beams as you can with your high beams. When the conditions require you to use low beams, you must slow down. Remember the example from the total stopping distance section. It takes 450 feet to stop a vehicle at 55 miles per hour. Driving on a straight road, on a clear day, you'll be able to see 450 feet ahead. In this situation, it is safe to travel at 55 miles per hour. But in fog, rain, or snow, limit your vision to 160 feet. You must slow down considerably to compensate for your limited vision. For reference, 450 feet is a little longer than a football field. 160 feet is the width of a football field. Speed and traffic flow. When you're driving in heavy traffic, the safest speed is the speed of the other vehicles. Vehicles going the same speed in the same direction are not likely to run into each other. In many states, speed limits are lower for trucks and buses. It can be very much as 15 miles per hour. Use this extra caution when changing lanes on these roadways. Drive with the flow of traffic. If you can, without going at an illegal or unsafe speed, make sure you keep a safe following distance. The main reason drivers speed is to save time, but speeding does not save much time. The added risks are not worth it. If you go faster than the speed of other traffic, you'll have to keep changing lanes. Increasing the number of lane changes increases your chance of an accident. Constantly changing lanes make you tired. Fatigue is a major cause of accidents. Speed on downgrades. Your speed will increase on downgrades. Your most important objective is to select and maintain a speed limit that is not too fast for the total weight of the vehicle and the cargo, the length of the grade, the steepness of the grade, road conditions, and weather. If a speed limit is posted or there is a sign indicating a maximum safe speed, never exceed the speed shown. Also, you must obey warning signs indicating steepness of the grade. You must use the braking effect of the engine as the principal way of controlling your speed on downgrades. The braking effect of the engine is greatest when it is near the governor RPMs and the transmission is in the lowest gears. Save your brakes so you'll be able to slow down or stop in an emergency. Shift your transmission into a lower gear before starting down the grade. Roadway work zones. Speed is the number one cause of death in roadway work zones. Obey the posted speed limit at all times when in a work zone. Decrease your speed for adverse weather conditions. Decrease your speed even further when a worker is close to the roadway.